Greetings. This is what we got today. All the boys love Mandy Lane. And boy do they. As we can see, the very first scene, she's walking down a hallway, everyone's swooning. Now, the title gives it away, so I don't count that as a spoiler. So here's your spoiler alert. Spoilers. You have been warned. I will be discussing the events of the film and the climax and all that stuff. So, now that's out of the way. She's the popular girl that everyone wants, apparently. So, there's this party, some jock guy invites her, and yeah, her friend Emmett accompanies her. They're like besties or whatever. And the guy's like, fine, I guess you can bring him. He doesn't say that. He's like, so are you coming? And she's like, yeah, we'll go. And he's like, who's we? And then Emmett's like, yeah, who's we? And she's like, us. He's like, sure, great. Anyway, they both go to the party. It's like right after school, so neither of them have swimsuits or whatever. It's a pool party. Typical high school stuff, you know, everyone's drinking, smoking pot, the usual. She's not really partaking in that. Emmett, sort of, but he's like kind of the black sheep there or whatever. Anyway, the guy who invites Mandy over starts like hitting on her and sits beside her and is like, so you should just like strip down and swim in your underwear. I want to see what color panties you're wearing, and like creepy shit like that, and like touching her and everything. It's like, ugh. She's obviously uncomfortable, so Emmett squirts him with a super soaker. Like, cool off, bud. Which, like, ew. Yeah, like, don't be touchy. If someone's clearly giving you the vibes they're not into it, frig off. Anyway, so his reaction immediately is to punch Emmett in the face, knock him in the pool. Clearly everyone saw what's going on, but then they're playing like, oh, we're good. We're buds. It's like, okay, well, whatever. Anyway, later there's a scene where Emmett's sitting on the roof, and I guess the guy who's hosting the party that was being kind of a dink goes up to the roof and he's like, Emmett, okay, let's just let bygones be bygones. We'll just, for tonight, we'll be buds. We'll just chill. No more confrontations. But get off my roof. So obviously people are like, go talk to that dude. Is he gonna like jump or something? Anyway, he's drunk. And Emmett says something along the lines of like, what are you gonna do that none of these other guys that are pining for Mandy are gonna do to impress her? And then it cuts to Mandy and there's literally two guys beside her trying to like talk her up and all that. And what have you. I'm just gonna move this. I don't know why. Okay, so yeah. There's already guys hitting on her when he goes up to the roof, and he's looking, he's like, kind of thinking about it, and he's like, you gotta do something cool, like, you gotta impress her. And then they come up with the thought of like, let's jump off the roof into the pool. And he's drunk as shit, and he's like, no. He goes for it. As he's jumping off the roof, he's like, Mandy, check this out. And she looks, and of course he like, they don't show him hit his head, but he obviously hit his head on the side of the pool, because they show him land in the water and then like blood, and he's out. Anyway, turns out he's dead, so good job, bud. Just to impress a girl that you had no chance with anyway, because you already creeped her out. So that's good. So he's dead. 9 months later, we find out that Mandy and Emmett are no longer friends. Maybe about that because he like convinced him to jump. I don't know. Anyway, they're not friends. And Mandy's like a track star. Like she's like into running and whatnot. So she's doing her laps, and Emmett runs up and he's like, can we talk? And she's like, no, whatever. Anyway, clearly not friends. Mandy's got a new group of friends now. Not quite as douchey as the other guy, but still, you know, typical douchey teenagers. But I mean, for all their faults, like they're teenagers. What are you gonna do? So anyway, she's talking to this girl Chloe, who's like her new bestie, and she's like, "We're gonna go to this party and on a ranch. Their buddy Red has a ranch, and so it's gonna be Chloe, their other friend Marlon, who I always thought that was a female name, but I guess, or I mean a male name, but it turns out it's their other female friend. But anyway, Marlon, who was showing off her like new belly button piercing, thinking it'll like be like a turn on for whatever guy she hits on the weekend or whatever. Anyway, so those guys, and then there's another gentleman by the name of Bird. I don't know if his name is Bird. I assume it's a nickname, but he seems like the nicest, most genuine guy of the group. And then there's Jake, who's the other guy. Anyway, so they drive out to the ranch there, and there's like a little scene of like one of them distracting some guy driving a truck and them stealing a keg off the back. You know, typical hijinks. Well, not so typical, but you know what I'm saying. They get to the ranch and they settle in and they go swimming, and then there's a snake, and then snake gets shot, and they look, and this guy Garth, who's like the ranch hand, it's Red's dad's ranch, and this guy is the ranch hand who works for them. Obviously, Chloe and Marlon are obviously all like in love with him, thinking, "Ooh, he's a cowboy," and then they find out he's a veteran too, he's in the Gulf War, and they're like, "Oh my god!" So they're all like pining for him. Because, yeah, they're playing... Later that night, they play a game of Truth or Dare or something, and the first dare is, like, vulgar. I'm not even going to say it on here, because, well, whatever. She is supposed to orally tend to one of the barnyard animals. Obviously, she's like, no, we're doing R-rated, not X-rated. She gets a pass on that, and then they get to Mandy, and Mandy throws Dare out there, and you'd think right away, like, everyone would be like, okay, this girl who we're trying to get... Well, anyways, it's the girl's turn, and she says, go invite Garth in, and they're like, are you fucking kidding me, all the friends? And so she does. She goes, talks to Garth, and he's like, yeah, probably shouldn't. I don't think Red's dad would appreciate me drinking with his kids, so I'm gonna pass. Totally fair. Respectable gentleman. So that happens. Eventually they start talking, and like one of the Truth or Dare questions is like, who has the smallest penis out of everyone there? And and Chloe and Marlon both point to Jake, who obviously gets upset, and he's like, what the fuck? And he just leaves. And like, you can't blame the guy. That's like a harsh thing to get called out. But at the same time, you know, teenagers, they'll laugh at the most unfortunate things. So he storms off. Marlon, who obviously is kind of like, I don't know, are they kind of dating? Not official, but they're like doing things anyway. She gave him like an day in the car ride there and stuff under a map. So obviously they're kind of like a thing. So she chases after him, and Chloe makes one more comment, and Marlon's like, okay, that's enough. Like, we laughed, now it's over. And she goes and comforts him, and he's pissed off, like justifiably. So she gives him a blowy. That'll solve everything, apparently. And yeah, as that happens, I think there's a scene where no, that's later. Okay, so anyway, that happens, and then she's like, okay, my turn, and he laughs and says, nope. So she's like, what, you're not gonna like return the favor? He's like, no, I'm so sick of your bullshit and all that. So anyway, that's fun. They have a little lovers tiff or whatever, and he takes the light and leaves her in the barn, like in pitch black. Like, what a dick. She just literally, you know, anyway, that's... So all his credit is gone entirely there, what little credit he had left. So Jake heads back to the house, and Marlon ends up getting attacked by this individual. So she's the first to be targeted, I guess we'll say. Not killed, but clubs her in the head with, like, I think the back of a shotgun or something, and then puts the shotgun, like, in her mouth. And doesn't shoot her, but, like, pushes it down to the point of, like, her bleeding, and, like, hits the butt. So I don't know, like, it's... I would assume that would, like, do irreparable damage to your spinal cord, but... You know, we find out later she's, like, barely living. Anyway. Drags her off. Okay. There's a power failure, which Jake ended up doing to try to get with Mandy, even though he was just with Marlon. Like, it's a little bit repulsive. I mean, I was a teen too, and like hormones and stuff, but it was never that bad. But anyway. Yeah, so that happens. She like turns him down pretty good. And he's all mad, like, you think you're better than us, blah blah blah. And she's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I came out here to have a good time, not like bang all the guys. Like, fuck off. Anyway, so that happens. They chill for a bit. Jake gets drunk and he decides to. I mean, he's over the penis thing, I guess now. Whatever. Gets drunk, he takes the keys and takes the truck and drives off, and they're all pissed off and stuff, and they're like, well, what the hell, you can't drive drunk. Anyway, he's going to find Marlon, because I guess he just realized, like, wow, I'm a dick, I should go find her. This is, like, not cool of me. I hope that's what he's thinking, because, you know, he's still a dick, though. Anyway. It's hard to care about characters who have, like, no sense of, like, being at least a moderately decent human being, so I don't really care about him. Anyway, he's driving. He finally sees Marlon sitting by the little lake area there where the snake was shot earlier, and he goes up to her with a bottle of booze, because that's, you know, his ticket to rekindling their thing, whatever. Anyway, she's sitting there with her head down. He's like, are you crying or puking or what's going on? He's like, he's like nudging her with the beer, or the fucking, it's like whiskey or something, I don't know, nudging her with that, and she like coughs up blood, and he's like, whoa, what the fuck? And then he sees someone behind him with a gun aimed, and he, smart thinking, I'll give him this credit, he immediately dives into the water. So yeah, I don't know the speed of like a shotgun blast, but I know that a lot of like bullets will disintegrate before they get like more than, you know, a couple centimeters into the water. So that's smart. But like buckshot, I don't know how that works. But the surface tension of the water, I think, would disrupt the speed, and, you know, would make them not deadly at least. So that's pretty clever. He goes under the water. Unfortunately, he can only hold his breath for so long, right? So when he surfaces, boom, shot. Yeah. And then it's revealed that it's Emmett. Okay, I guess he really took the not being friends with Mandy thing to heart, so okay. He ends up killing Marlon too at some point. I can't remember how she actually dies, but anyway. She does. And yeah. They're just chilling. The other group is back at the house chilling, and Garth comes up and he's like, I heard a shot. Like, and they're all kind of panicking too, like they heard the shot. Everyone heard the shot, and Garth's like, if I hear one more shot, I'm calling your dad. Like, no, he's just drunk, he's just having fun, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, alright, seriously though, tone it down, or I'm calling your dad. And he's like, alright. So, they mellow out. It's getting early / late, whatever you want to call it anyway, so they're chilling on the porch, the remaining 4 of them. It's Red, Chloe, Mandy, and Bird are on the thing, and they're kind of like, are they coming back at some point? And they're like, nah, they're probably like sleeping in the haystack or whatever. Probably just had a love-making session and crashed. So they're probably not coming back till the morning. Which is fair. I mean, knowing the debauchery that's going on. Anyway. And then the truck comes up. It's still dark, so you can't really see in the truck. And they're like, oh, they're back. Great. But from out of the window, whoever's driving the truck just fires a bunch of bottle rockets at them. They're like, what the fuck, guys? And then drives off again. So it's like, okay. Anyway. Bird chases the truck. He's like, Jake, what the hell are you doing? Whatever. And finally the truck stops when they're like quite far down the road. I don't know why he chased him that long, but whatever. Anyway, he does. And he sees it's Emmett. He's like, oh shit. and Emmett tries to do something, but is easily overpowered by Bird, who's like way bigger than him. Basically punching him, pinning him down, and saying, "What are you doing?" Like, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, secret weapon, knife, boom, right into Bird. Cuts across his eyes, so blinds him. That's pretty gross, but you know, whatever. That's cool. As he's crawling away, gets stabbed in the back. Emmett kill number 3. Hooray! So he's on a roll. He's officially become. If he was playing Call of Duty, I think he'd get like an air drone or something. I don't know. It's been a long time since I played Call of Duty, but there we go. 3 down. Cool. So, whatchamacallit, we got Chloe and Red are like crashed on the couch, being all snuggly, and Garth and Mandy are in the kitchen kind of having a heart-to-heart. There was a heart-to-heart with Chloe and Mandy too, so there's like a genuine friendship or whatever. That it's not just based on having a new friend. They like talk, and Chloe's like, "You're so much prettier than me." She's all sad, and Mandy like, "Shut up." And they like do pills together or something. I don't know, it's Valium or something. It's like, this will calm you down. Alright, anyway, that was a while back. So Garth and Mandy are in the kitchen talking, having coffee. Eventually Mandy passes out. There's another point where Chloe sees Emmett but doesn't recognize him, and there's a person out there. But she'd just been doing like lines of coke and like drinking and, you know, more debauchery. So they don't believe her. Red even opens the door to see, and there's like a fake out where he's like, "Oh my god, duck," and he's like, "Haha, there's no one there." Ugh, hilarious. Yeah. So how's it transition to the next scene? I don't really remember. Shit. Anyway, right, okay, so then the radio upstairs goes on, and Garth goes to see what's going on because he knows the other 2 are in there. So maybe Bird's back, or maybe the other 2 that are gone are back. He doesn't know. So he goes upstairs to check, sees no one there. That's when Emmett sneaks into the kitchen and is all creepy, and he rearranges letters. Chloe had put like "Chloe is hot" on the fridge and like little, you know, those letter fridge magnets, and they're arranged when Garth comes back down to wake up, and then there's like a bloody handprint on the fridge. And then he notices as Mandy's coming to, like, one of her bangs has like blood in it. So this guy Emmett was like being a creeper and like touching her when she's sleeping or something. I don't know. He's like, "Okay, we should get out of here." So they all agree, we gotta go. As Garth opens the front door, boom, shot down. Shut the door quickly. Okay, well that's not good. So Chloe and Red, they go out the back, and Mandy stays with him temporarily enough to like patch up his wound, and then she's got to go get the first aid kit from the shed or something, and so she goes and she gets that and a knife. And yeah, so they came in 2 cars, and one car is parked outside of, like, you know those cow traps? Not cow traps, I don't know what they're called, but like they're at the gates, and they're like, there's a little pit dug out and then spaced out bars that a car can drive over, but cows with their hooves, they don't cross it because they could easily, like, their legs could go through it, and they're smart enough to know not to do that. So I'm going to call it a cow trap because I don't know what it's called. But anyway, one of the cars is parked there because Chloe didn't want to risk getting it damaged or something. So Chloe and Red are running to that car. Red's got the keys. They're running there, and then they see the bodies of Marlon and Jake tangled in barbed wire, so they're freaking out. And they go to the car, and they're all panicking, and there's like I don't know why they decide that that's a good time to kiss, but they do. And as they kiss, what's his nuts there? Red gets shot, and like blood. So blood is in her mouth and on her face as they're kissing, so that's lovely. Real romantic. He dead. It's Emmett, obviously. And he gets into as Chloe runs off, he takes the keys out of Red's pocket, starts the car, and starts chasing her through the field. Fast enough to be like right on her, but not fast enough to hit her. So I guess he's just fucking with her. Anyway, that's when Mandy sees her running, and she's got the first aid kit and the knife, and she's like, run, run, run. And Chloe's running, and she drops the first aid kit and opens her arms, and Chloe comes in and hugs her, and then all of a sudden, ugh, what the fuck? So Mandy stabbed Chloe in the stomach or whatever, or the chest. And then it's revealed that like there's like a pact between her and Emmett, like a suicide murder pact. It's like, what? And this is where a lot of the complaints of the movie came. So based on the end result of the movie, I feel like they shouldn't have had Mandy kill Chloe, but I'll get to why in a moment. We'll finish up the rest of the story. So that happens. They have a little kissy kiss, which obviously, being obsessed with Mandy, Emmett is thrilled about. She's like, you did all this for me, didn't you? And then her tone changes. Is that what you wanted me to say? It's like, what? Okay, so are you together, or I don't know. Anyway, yeah, then he's like, okay, we're gonna do a suicide pact. Or no, he says the suicide pact first, gives her 2 pills. He's like, I want you to take the pills and then shoot me before you die, and then that's how we're gonna do it. And she's like, no dice. She drops the pills after the smooch and the little verbal thing there. So he immediately pulls up the shotgun. He's like, we had a pact. We're supposed to die together. Like, you can't go back on your word. And he's like, we're dying. And she's like, no, one of us is, though. And then she yells out, and Garth had patched himself up enough to like hobble down to where they are, shoots Emmett, doesn't kill him, but shoots him, which, considering his condition, like the fact that he even hit him, is pretty impressive. They scuffle it out, unfortunately, because Garth had lost way more blood. He is overpowered and hit with a machete, whatever you want to call it. And he's down for the count. Starts chasing Mandy, who falls into like a pit of cows. Like there was this thing earlier where there were a bunch of sick cows that like Garth had to shoot because they were diseased. They couldn't sell them. They couldn't cure them. Whatever. She falls into this pit of like rotting cows, and she's like retching a little bit. And he jumps in there after, and he's pinning her down, and yeah, there's like a scuffle, and she breaks free. Or yeah, she's like, I think we should just be friends, and then nut shots him. So that was great. Scrambles to her feet as he's like coming back to, is able to like climb out from under him. They have another scuffle. He's got the machete. She's got a big log. And she's blocking it. The machete gets stuck in the log. So she's like, haha, improved weapon. And gets him with the machete log. So swings the log. Machete impales him. Evan's toast. Then she goes back to Garth and picks him up. And he's still alive somehow. Helps him to the truck, the Jeep thing. And they drive off, and he's like, you did it. You saved us. And that was the end. So, the ending. Up to then, pretty standard, fun teen killer thing. Yeah, no real complaints about it. Like, they were generic teen kids or whatever, but the whole obsession thing was kind of a neat take, just a little bit of something different. The acting was okay. It wasn't phenomenal. Yeah, no real complaints about any of that, but the twist was kind of like, they should have made her either go all in with it or like completely not with it, in my opinion. Like, if she was never gonna go through with it with this Emmett kid, why did she kill Chloe, who like she clearly was having a little bit of bonding with earlier? Like, genuine, too. Like, you could tell they were, like, their little bathroom chat where she's like, you're pretty good to me all. Like, they genuinely had a friendship. So why would you kill her? Even if you were doing that to make Emmett think that you were still on his side, to, like, I don't get that. What they should have done is they should have just had Emmett kill Chloe. Like, run her over right in front of Mandy. And then they could go about it the same way, where she's like, I don't know. I don't know what they could have done, to be honest. I'm not a director or a producer or anything like that, or a script writer, but it just didn't feel proper. So that kind of lowers my points for the movie in general. Overall, though, it was fun enough. I'm gonna give it, I'm thinking mid-5s, because that last little part there, I don't know, man. And then she drives off with like Garth, and they're all good, and it's like, you killed Chloe, and you were in cahoots to kill all of these other kids, and then you killed the person you were in cahoots with, so like, what's your story? They're never gonna make a sequel, but if they did, they would have to explain like what's going on in her head, why she helped this one guy, why she killed the like one friend that was actually genuinely her friend, kind of, why she decided to no longer go along with the suicide kill thing. Did she just want to kill all of them and Emmett because he's also a creepy obsessed kid? Like, I don't know. They would have to explore that, but they're not going to, because I think the movie did terribly and everyone hates Amber Heard now, so it's probably not going to happen. So, I mean, it's definitely not going to happen. So what am I going to rate it? Based on a standalone, again, not taking into account all the controversy between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, because personally, I don't care. I'm going to look at it as a movie. I'm looking at her as an actress, not a human being. So all in all, I'm going to give it a 5.5. I think 5.5 is fair. It's watchable. Just the ending. Wouldn't have done it like that. But there you go. Should you check it out? I mean, I'm gonna say probably not, because of all the hate for Amber Heard, so you're not gonna want to watch it, probably. But if you're indifferent like myself, yeah, check it out. That's all I got. Okay, bye.